What's up, guys? This is Adam from esportsheaven.com, and once again, I am joined by none other than Neo, the Golden Boy. How you doing today, man?
Really well, thank you. Hope you guys are doing fine too.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. You have your booth here again. How is business going?
It's actually been very steady. It's been a very solid day, so no complaints. Just running on fumes now, so we'll see what happens. We'll see how I can pull tomorrow off.
Yeah. So what are you playing tomorrow? Just Marvel?
Yeah, I play Marvel very early in the morning, but I mean I play at not very early, but at 10. But I have to show up and man the booth at 7:30, so it doesn't really matter. I still have to do it.
Right.
I still have to be early.
Are you doing any commentary tomorrow or no?
No. This year Marvel's commentary schedule is I think it's actually half of what it was last year, or it's limited. Right. So I have to kind of like run the booth and do the tournament. Right. So I'm pretty much going to dedicate my time to that.
Okay. Now, before we get into your prep for this year, I remember last time we talked, you were saying like, I was really busy studying. I don't really expect myself to do that well. And then you made top 8. I don't know if you were just being a little humble, downplaying. You want to surprise the people. But tell me a little bit about your run last year. What was like getting back to that top 8, to that stage once again?
It was amazing. I made top 8 in Marvel 2 years past, and that was one of the best experiences in my gaming resume, if you want to say it that way. But to revisit the stage again and this new platform in Marvel 3 and just seeing the crowd and the growth of the fighting game community as it was back then and even bigger now, it's just something amazing. And yeah, last year law school was very demanding, so it was tough to think that I would have an easy time making top 8, but it worked out. When I beat full schedule, I felt something I hadn't felt in a very long time. So I needed to free the beast. And that video's there. That video's online too, where I completely go nuts. Yeah. I punched an Xbox. Oh no, they're gonna find out. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So obviously you didn't win. It happens. It happens. Sure. How did you feel overall with your performance there, and how did it affect you going into that year or the rest of that year and now?
I didn't win, which obviously we all wanted to win, but I felt that my showing, given the circumstances, was very strong, and it showed me that fundamentals, even with a outdated arsenal, can still get you there or can get you very, very far. This year, I practiced a little more, but fundamentals are fundamentals, so I expect them to carry me, into top 32, and then, interesting things happen there. Yeah.
So before we get into this year, another horrible thing happened. I remember you were talking about the bag that you lost during top 8. Yeah. How did you cope with that? What was the recovery like from that? And just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So unfortunately, for those of you who don't know, last year I was extremely busy. I was running a booth. I was in the commentary schedule, and I happened to compete and make top 8. Following everybody getting their medals, I had always carried my backpack on me up until that point. Or most of the time, except when I played, but it was in the chair, and we were heading down the stage. I was carrying it with me, and some players from Mexico really wanted to take a lot of pictures with each other because originally I'm from Mexico. I'm American, but I'm from Mexico, and I let my guard down for no more than 20 seconds. Unfortunately, as I took my backpack off, kind of clouded by the whole top 8 euphoria, if you will.
Yeah, the rage from the
Of course. And just unfortunately somebody saw an opening and they took it, and I was really obviously upset at first. Right. I wanted to find out who it was and even take legal action because I know how to do it.
Yeah.
But
it's what you're trying to be.
Of course. But then later on I figured that I went through all the channels possible to find out, and I guess the person who did it really did the research because there happens to be no cameras there. And I don't know. But at the end of the day, I just didn't want that to be like my lasting memory from that year. And I was able to come home to my mom and gave her the medal, and that pretty much cured everything away. And just brought me perspective as to what really matters. Money comes and goes, but they can't nobody can take away your accomplishments. So that's what I remember from that year.
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed, especially in your time on stream and things like that, it seems that you and your mom are very close. You say for her a lot. You do a lot of these things for her. Kind of describe what she means to you.
She's basically like everything to me, because ever since I was a kid, every single ball game, every single test I ever took, she was there. And to me, she taught me a lot of fundamentals about life. So I feel that they have a duty, a good duty, not like a burden, to do everything I can to compensate her for like everything that she did for me, you know. And basically, my goal in life is to make her proud. So whenever I can do something to do that, it just makes me feel that much better. Right. You know, that's really my goal in life is to. Well, my goal. I have a lot of goals, but that really is probably my main goal. You know, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's why. Right,
right. So you're going into this year. You have Evo, but you're still in law school. Is this your last year or?
Oh, my last year in law school. My last year here.
Last year in law school.
It's coming up, and I have to take the bar next summer.
Right.
So I'm unsure as to how Evo's gonna pan out, given that. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, but this coming year is my last year no matter what in law school. So I'm very excited. Woo.
Right. Almost done, man. You're on the home stretch, you know what I'm saying? So you had another year in law school. I'm not quite sure how that works, but was this year harder than maybe the year you had going into 2015? How did that affect your preparation?
Oh, no, absolutely not. First year is by far the hardest year in law school. This is like a generally known fact across pretty much United States. The first year, they trying to teach you how to think in a completely different way. They put obstacles in front of you. The curve is really gnarly. They intentionally try to weed out people, actually. That's their intent. Right. And to keep like the strongest so that the school has a better chance of having a really high amount of people pass the bar at the end of the 3 years. Right. So if you get past the first year and you continue to do well, then you're going to be okay. Right. So I got past the first year, did well, and everything's going good now. So I'm just excited about finishing so I can get back to this marble. Cuatro, you know?
I mean, that's what we're all hoping for, right? Yes. All right, so tell me about your preparation going into Evo 2016, because being in law school, it's not like you had a lot of tournaments that you could go to, you know? Your time is very precious.
Yeah, so again, I rely on my fundamentals a lot, even though my arsenal is not, you know, the sharpest. But this past 2 weeks at the FGTV house, there has been like major training sessions, and there was even a tournament.
Yes,
and I couldn't necessarily like compete because I had a legal memorandum due. Right. But even before that day and the day before and so forth and so on and the day after, I was practicing with some of these guys. Right. So I feel good. I am very happy with where I'm at. And I think in the end, if I just stick to what I do, I should be fine. And hopefully I can repeat this semester, this time around.
I mean, that's what we'd all love to see. It seems like a lot of people are like coming back tomorrow. Like for a little bit, it seemed like Champ, Chris, even Justin kind of put it on the back burner, but it seems like they're taking it more seriously. One thing that we talked about last year that you really stressed, especially coming from Marvel 2, you know, you want to see those rivalries come back. You want to see the hype come back. And we're here a year later. How do you feel the community for Marvel has changed? Do you think it's gone in a better direction, or do you feel like we're kind of stagnant right now?
I actually think right now is actually doing really well in terms of the fact that Chris G came back and he's kind of been looking very strong. Right. We have a lot of young talent, new talent that are very hungry. You know, guys like Ryan LV, guys like Super Noon, guys like Jabril. You know, a lot of hungry talent that are just really killers. You know, right. And at the same time, you have like, you know, the classics. You know, your F Champs, your, you know, Justin Wong's. You know, that you know, your top eights that are also battling for that. So last year was supposed to be that 1 year where it was like it's all or nothing, you know, because we don't even know how long Marvel's going to last after this. Right. I actually think that extended to this year because, again, there's a lot of people that really want to do well, and some of the people that weren't taking it as serious, they have been practicing a lot. So it's going to be, I actually think it's going to be really exciting, so I can't wait.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to it, too. I want to see you guys battle that. Marvel's one of my favorite games by far. So you are going to, you know, graduate from law school, take that bar, hopefully pass, you know, become the lawyer that you've always wanted to be. How is that going to affect your career here? How are you going to still have more time to compete, things like that?
So I am hoping that in doing so and following the bar, I can merge my expertise in the law and this booming, you know, industry of esports. Right. There's a lot of untapped potential in regard to, you know, a lot of legal related matters that can arise from the esports world. So I'm actually really hoping to see what I can do with both skills that and the experience that I've developed in both fields. So that's one way. The other way is I can, you know, just become a civil or criminal litigator. That's my backup plan. Right, that's like plan C. I actually want to have some fun, to be honest with you. I've been under a lot of stress, you know, like, and I feel like maybe following the bar, I can take a couple of months off to really think about what I want to do, because doing what you want to do, dude, like now that we're actually getting into it, is so important, you know.
Right.
I'm sure like what you're doing right now, you like to do what you're doing, you know, like being, you know, asking players questions, doing research, providing the people with information. I'm sure you guys love to do that, you know. It's very important to do that, because if you're not doing what you love to do, then what are you doing in this life, you know? So hopefully after my misery of the bar, I can figure out what else that I love to do and go from there.
So you're not exactly going to hang up the joystick, or are we going to see, you know, you still come back and maybe have another, maybe the final chapter for Marvel 3, like how you did for Marvel 2?
Oh, well, we can't let Marvel 3 end without a final chapter, you know what I'm saying? That's right, Clock.
Oh man, I'd love to see that. I mean, obviously you and Clock are cool. It's not like there's any animosity out there, but like, let's be honest, one of the hypest matches in fighting game history, honestly. And who knows, if it becomes 1-1, what's gonna happen in Marvel 4?
Oh, that would be lovely, except I don't think it's gonna be 1-1. You know, history tends to repeat itself sometimes, and I think that would be one of the times.
Okay, all right. Shout out to Clock, by the way. I hope I see you soon.
Hi, Clock.
So, Marvel 4, that's something that a lot of people really want. And from what I understand, you kind of like Marvel 2 more than Marvel 3. Not that Marvel 3 is a bad game, but Marvel 2 has that special place in your heart. When you see Marvel 4, how do you want it to be? Do you want it to be like a combination of Marvel 3 and Marvel 2, or something completely new?
I want it to be, for me personally, if possible, a combination of the two. Because, as you said, Marvel 2 was my first love. It's one of those games that it's really hard to explain how fun that game is, and also how demanding it is at the same time for you to be able to compete at the highest level. Whereas Marvel 3 is a little more lenient with the mechanics and the tools, basically trying to encourage people to play and giving everybody a chance. And I understand that that's important for the growth of the fighting game community. So I hope that maybe what they can do is merge both concepts into a game where, yes, we accommodate to the people, and everybody should want to try this game and not be discouraged, but that there also should be tools to reward your hard work and, you know, your dedication at those higher levels. Right. Which I feel, honestly, that's where Marvel 3 is right now, because even though we got X Factor and all these crazy mechanics, the same 12 to 15 people tend to end up in that top 8, top 16 bracket, you know? So hopefully from the get-go, we can get a game that somehow combines both elements, you know, Marvel 2 and Marvel 3. I think it would be really interesting. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, man. Let's just hope we even get a Marvel 4, honestly. Oh, yeah, I definitely want that. And once you become a lawyer, are you also going to keep the Underground Syndicate? Is that still something in the plans for you? Yeah,
this was originally, this was a project. You know, this was just to see how, you know, the community would react to, you know, some creativity, some apparel, and it just continued to grow slowly and slowly. And I haven't been able to maintain my focus on it as much as I would want to because of all these other things. And that's one thing that I actually do have to think about. It's good that you brought it up. I tend to want to overreach in different areas a lot, and that can be good, but it can also be bad in that you're not concentrating on just certain things, you know? And I need to think as to what I'm going to do with the future of this apparel. Like you said, you know, whether I'm going to keep playing or I'm going to keep just doing this. Something I got to actually think about, because I don't want to keep overreaching and then be good at everything, but not the master of necessarily one, or not be the best at something, you know?
You don't want to be the jack of all trades, master of none, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, man, I don't know if I have anything else to say. If there's any shout-outs you want to give, words you want to say to your fans, how can your fans follow you? Maybe you want to give a shout-out to all the Mexican fans out there, too.
Yeah. Well, shout-outs to everybody, honestly, that plays Marvel, that showed up to Evolution. Shout-outs to everybody that, you know, want to continue to improve and be part of this community. It's basically a cheesy general shout out, but it's one that needs to be said because this community keeps growing and growing. You know, it's a wonderful thing. A special shout out to my mom, of course, to all my friends back home, and obviously to you guys, dude, for doing this type of good work and putting the word out there.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned to esportsheaven.com for more coverage of EVO 2016. Be sure to check out his store online as well. We'll see you guys.